The difference between HTML and HTML5. HTML5 has been a bit of a buzzword over the last several years. Now there's been previous versions of HTML, but none of them are really touted as being HTML3 or HTML4. I think the main reason that this version was given a more specific name was because it was the first upgrade that really had some impressive features worth talking about. Now, to really understand the benefits of HTML5, let's first talk about some of the previous versions and what the differences were. Now, for the most part, the versions of HTML dealt with trying to give designers and coders better control over aligning objects on a page and really greater control over tables and things like that. Now, these were small but important changes at the time. Now remember that HTML is the coding language for browsers, so when writing HTML, the browser is what interprets that code and makes it something visual. Things have improved greatly over the years, but back when we were coding in HTML3, a site might display a lot differently from browser to browser. So the ability to have more control over how your web page looked was really important. When HTML4 came out, more tags were available, giving users greater control over the web pages, and browsers started to standardize how they display their code. One big change that came out around this time was the different types of HTML4, like transitional, which was for users transitioning from a web page using older versions of HTML. Now, the other option was HTML strict, or what some people called XHTML, which was, as the name implies, a much more strict form of HTML that required your code to be written a certain way to attempt to have it look the same across all browsers. Now, you might not notice some of the subtle differences between these variations of code, but sites like, let's say, Constant Contact still require XHTML code for its e-blasts. HTML5 has gotten away from how strict this code was and really cleaned up a lot of the extra code that was in previous versions, as well as given us a bunch of new features that help to move away from plugin-dependent code like Adobe Flash to do cool things like play games and watch videos. So first, let's take a look at the very first line of code in an HTML file. Here's what was required in an HTML4 file. And here's what it looks like now in HTML5. It's much more simple and clean. The less code that you have on your page, the faster it loads, so this was a smart choice. Previously, you needed something like Flash Player to be able to let visitors watch video or listen to audio files on your site. Those users would need a plugin installed before being able to watch it, so you were possibly alienating some of your users. With HTML5, you no longer need these players, and you can just do it by simply adding a video or audio tag, something not previously available in HTML4. Now, later as we get into CSS, you're going to see how nice this feature is, but some of the new tags were added to define areas of the page, like header and footer, and nav, and article, where before you had to create these with custom CSS div tags. Additionally, HTML5 brought out a bunch of advanced features like Canvas, which lets users draw on the page with the help of some JavaScript, drag and drop capabilities to upload files, geolocation APIs, things like that. With all these new features, programmers have actually started creating games that run on HTML5, as well as web and mobile apps using it. HTML5 has become a very powerful upgrade with potential to be an even more powerful coding language in the upcoming years. Now before we go too far, I want to go ahead and let you take a look and see what an HTML file looks like by creating your own. It's actually very simple and you don't need any real special tools to do some of the basic work on it. So what I'm going to do is open up on the Mac a program called Text Edit. It's a very simple text editing program. If you are on the PC, I would suggest using something like Notepad. Even Word will work for something like this. We're going to keep this one really simple and just take a look at a basic HTML file. Alright, so I've got my page here. I'm going to go ahead and just type out something very simple like hello, creative online. Alright, of course I got an error right away there. Let's fix that. Alright, hello creative online school. This is my file. Very simple text document. And what I am going to do is go ahead and go to save it. And when I save it, I'm going to give it the name. I'm going to call this one index. And I'll tell you why later on, but let's go ahead and get used to just naming our first file index. And it gives you the option to save it as something. If you can turn off text, you can just type in your own extension there. Give it the extension of HTML. I know some of these text editing programs will give you the option to click on a drop down and save it as an HTML file. If not, go ahead and just add that extension yourself. You're not going to blow up the internet, don't worry. And I'm going to save it to my desktop so I can find it. Alright, so you'll see right here on my desktop, I've got my index file. And what's really cool about this is that you can test the stuff out without having to upload it to a server. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the browser here. And all I have to do is grab this index file and drag it over to a browser. And I can see the text that I wrote. And I can look up in the address bar in here and I can see that it is looking at my index.html file, so I know that it's reading that. And I can see the text that I wrote right here. Now this is nothing that's going to win any prizes for creativity, but just want to show you what a basic HTML file looks like. Now, another thing that you're going to want to take a look at here is I'm going to move this over to the side. I'm going to keep this open. It's still referencing this index.html file. I'm going to come back to my document here, and I want to go ahead and add my first line of HTML code. I'm going to keep this one really simple. And on the to the left of hello, I'm going to do a less than symbol, lowercase b, and a greater than symbol. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to add almost the same thing to the other end of the text here. And do a less than, but this time I'm going to do a forward slash lowercase b and the greater than symbol. Oops, looks like my b moved outside of that. There we go. Alright, so less than, forward slash, the letter b, greater than. So what I've done is added a b, or with a bold tag, to the beginning of this word here, and another one at the end. Now we're going to get more into these tags and what they mean later on, but again, this one just means to bold the text that's in there. So, in most cases, you would probably expect to see this in the browser with the less than, the b, the greater than symbol on both sides of this text here. But again, this is telling the browser to use this tag to do something creative to it. So I'm going to save my file here, and I'm going to come back to my browser window, and because it's still referencing that same file, I haven't changed the name of it or anything like that, all I should have to do is click on my refresh button here, and you'll see my text got bold. So that's just a taste of what we're going to be doing in the rest of these HTML class file. So that's just a taste of what we're going to be doing throughout the rest of this course here. You've got your first experience creating an HTML file. There's obviously a lot more to it, but we added our first tag as well, and you see how the browser translates that into something that's actually going to give you that markup language, that styling of the page, and the content on it. So let's go ahead and talk about HTML editors next.